So, a lot of the quote unquote progressives out there, especially the TYT crowd, the Jank Uger crowd, they're still full stop, well on the attack the Jimmy Dore path. And there's a clip, as a matter of fact. There was the whole force the vote issue. That's what Jimmy Dore's been advocating for. Jimmy Dore had a force the vote town hall. Okay. And so, big news to come out of that is apparently Jimmy Dore had some issues with one of the people who were participating in the Zoom conference call as part of this town hall. The guy's name's eluding me off the top of my head. I think it's Ben. Ben might have been his name. But yeah, so Jimmy Dore had kind of an explosive moment. I'm going to roll this clip, and then we're going to talk about this because I think this is a symptom of a bigger issue that I've been talking about in some of the videos before. So let's take a look at this, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on what we just what we're going to watch here.
So, I don't disagree that her responses on the thread weren't great, although I see them in a little bit of a different way, because I do think it's good that she was responding to Justin. Not everybody does that. I think it was good that she engaged. And then I also thought on the interview on Intercepted, her answer made a little bit more sense than what she had responded
Which
to
answer,
Justin.
Ben?
Are you kidding me?
But wait a minute, Jimmy.
Ben, I don't know who the fuck you are, but this is
Jimmy. Hold on. Can you not?
Jimmy,
let's not.
wait a minute.
I don't know what this is. So you're saying her answers weren't great on that Twitter thread? What is in it to you to give people who are politicians who are obviously bullshitting and gaslighting us? What is in it for you to give them every benefit of the doubt? You think that helps?
No. So, and again,
Then why do you do it?
So I guess what I'm saying, Jimmy, is I think the idea that AOC is in the same category as Nancy Pelosi.
No, what you said was her answers weren't great, Ben. Instead of her answers were obvious bullshit and gaslighting and revealed they weren't actually strategizing. You do the exact opposite.
So
stop fucking doing that.
Let Ben respond and make his point. I think he's being
He made his point. His point is he gives them every benefit of the fucking doubt, and he's not ready to fight for fucking anything. Ever. Ever.
Yeah, well, and so I guess what I'm saying
our
is,
answers weren't great. Are you fucking shitting
Bree
me?
and I have been saying. Hold on. No.
So Jimmy, I really
one thing is that there are. Then I'll let you speak.
Her answers weren't great. Her answers weren't great, Katie. Her answers weren't great. They were obvious bullshit.
There are different lanes, as I've said before, and I do think that that's important to remember. And if you want, honestly, if you want to make your case, it's actually, I think, more effective to engage.
Well, I know what you guys think is more effective, and I see how far you guys moved the ball with your fucking claptrap. Zero. Giving fucking politicians the benefit of the doubt at every fucking turn and using mealy-mouthed terms and
but Jimmy, nobody's
issues. Fuck
Jimmy,
off.
Jimmy, let's explore this.
Nobody.
Yeah. Ben, I want to ask you, Jimmy, because I think that this is an important point to explore. Ben, when you said that you thought her.
So the immediate response to that is, look, hey, the force the vote thing, falling apart from the insides. These people can't agree on anything. They're having issues with each other. Jimmy Dore is going off on unhinged rants. It looks like there's some people from inside who don't share his sentiment that AOC is as bad as Nancy Pelosi and so on and so forth, right? So let's just be clear here, okay? Do I know the background story of all the people who are on the screen in that video? Do I know the background story of the gentleman there that Jimmy Dore seemed to have his biggest issue with in regards to how, his strategy, AOC's answers weren't great. It seems to be what Jimmy's big issue is, right? Do I know his background story? Do I know what his healthcare situation is? No. So I don't want to speculate too much that they don't share a lot of the same experiences, but here's what I do know, okay? We know Jimmy's background story. We know why healthcare is such a big issue to him. Okay? Now, me being someone who, if I had a situation similar to what Jimmy had, or in any way, shape, or form arise, and it wasn't something that I could try to treat at home, I'm going to be faced with a big problem on my hands because I have no health insurance that can help cover it. Okay, and while I do have a decent form of income to make a living, that doesn't cover anything for healthcare expenses because healthcare system is completely screwed up and it bankrupts people. You literally have to have either Cadillac healthcare coverage or you've got to have a good bit of money if a medical emergency ever falls your way to come out of it without being over the top in debt and potentially wondering how you're going to ever repay this. Okay, this system bankrupts people. This system ruins people's lives. It's terrible. Now, everyone's going on and on and on like, oh no, if Jimmy were to talk to me that way, I'd hang up. Jimmy's a terrible guy. You see how he speaks to people? You see how he cussing people out? So let me explain to all of you out there, okay? First of all, how many of you making this criticism towards Jimmy Dore for getting that pissed about this issue have ever been put into the predicament where you literally were inches away from death or because you didn't know how you could pay your bills because of a bad healthcare system and because of big pharma, all these profiteers who want to make money out there, okay, off people's health, when it literally put you to the point you were contemplating killing yourself? How many people who are wanting to say that about the way Jimmy Dore is reacting to this, how many people have been in that predicament? Because you see, that's going to make a lot of difference here. If you haven't been in that predicament, then it's easy for you to expect that the way you are supposed to debate change is to sit around in a big circle jerk and sing Kumbaya. But I got news for you. All these people, even the lefties who say that they want it, but they don't like the way Jimmy Dore's talking, and they think it should be this holding of the hands while we all, sing hippie songs and whatever. Look, you want revolution. Just call a spade here. You want revolution. You want revolution. You're all talking about big change in this country. You want the corruption gone. You want the status quo gone. You want a healthcare system that can cover everyone. You want some forms of revolution. The problem, and God have I been saying this for months and months and months, and this, they always say that what things do the right and the left have in common? Well, I found one, and it isn't a good thing. There's a lot of people who are identifying themselves on the right, and there's a lot of people who are identifying themselves on the left who believe our country has gone in the toilet, and they want a revolution, but they have not seemingly studied the first tidbit of information on how to be a revolutionary. You see, when people are truly fed up with a system that is dumping on them, and someone comes along when they say that they want to get a change, and the person comes along that they're talking to and says, you know what? I agree with you. I want some change too. But maybe we should still kind of quasi kiss the ass of the people we want to change because, we really don't want to push too hard. When someone comes along and takes that kind of tone to you when you have been deeply affected by that problem and they might not have been, but you have, and they say you should wait, to a lot of people. And I can say this not off of a guess because it's my reaction. That's what happens to me if someone wanted to tell me those kind of things. You bring out an emotional response. You need to understand that. Because you see, when you are discussing a topic that affects someone's life that deeply, we're not here to debate ideas anymore. This affects my life, my health. How do you think that man's feeling knowing he damn near died because of a bad healthcare system and you're telling him, just wait? No, don't yell at AOC. Her answers weren't great. but she's not a Nancy Pelosi. My man, really, you think that's the way you need to talk? You're going to get that response. Now, key thing is, so I read Jimmy Dore apologized to the gentleman later on in the conversation. That brings me to the next point. See, if that were to be me, and you were touching on an issue that deeply affected me, and I blew up at you, I might apologize for it later on. Because I would do a lot of the same things people are giving him criticism for. When you push those certain buttons and you bring out my emotional response, later on I might say, maybe shouldn't have cussed them out. So I might come over and say, hey, sorry for getting that heated, but it's a serious issue for me. So for all you people who fail to see the nuance and why Jimmy might get that pissed off, you act like Jimmy is nothing but a screaming, raving lunatic. Hello, he came up with the concept none of these other people seemingly were able to come up with. And this is an issue that deeply affects him personally because of what it's done to his health over the years. That's the kind of response that you're going to get. Period. I had similar responses when a lot of the defund the police stuff was going on. And of course, I made my case. Look, hey, if you want to talk police reform, better training programs or whatever, I'm open to that debate. But this idea of getting rid of the police and all that, no, I'm not on board with that. And this demonization, every cop is a bad cop, I'm not on board with that. You know why? Because I know plenty of them. Wow. Hard to believe there, right? Again, not going to go down that rabbit hole. If people who are watching the channel want me to give more of my opinion on that, I've got previous videos talking about it. And if you want me to discuss it again, drop comments. And if enough people want me to talk about it, I will. But the thing is, that was something for me. Having people who were very close to me serving in law enforcement and knowing they're not out there doing what the propaganda's pushing, that, every cop's just out there to be a headhunter for a minority. No, it's not true. Are there problematic people? Yes. But, this idea of just labeling the entire group because of the actions of a few is no different than labeling every white person a Klansman. Because white people are Klansmen. Does that mean every white person is a Klansman? No. But every Klansman's a white person, right? Same concept. You don't like it when it's applied in other ways. You wouldn't like it if one of those stereotypes were to be applied to any minority group. Rightfully so. You're not supposed to do that, right? So you shouldn't have been applying it here. So the same concept. You fail to think why Jimmy might have that kind of a reaction. You don't put yourself in his shoes. And so, for a guy like myself, again, I seriously wonder for these people who are so willing to just take this incremental change, for these people who are willing to tell you, keep waiting. And again, even if because look, I have a lot of libertarian friends out there. Obviously, I'm not a far lefty myself. I don't even consider myself a lefty. I consider myself independent. I mean, I voted for the libertarians. I do a lot of, cross content with Reed, libertarian. So a lot of my ideas would definitely fall within the libertarian category. But at the end of the day, regardless of whether you think the Medicare for All, the Single Payer Plus, or even just creating more competition is what's going to work best for the American people, it doesn't really matter. To me, any of them, if we could get it put in place correctly, would be better than the current system. Because the current system is trash for everyone involved. And so at this point, we could debate on which one is best, but people like myself are just about to the point where we would say, give me any one of the three. If it ain't the public option, I'll take it. You know why? Because even if I had to go on a waiting list under the Medicare for All plan to get some kind of a procedure and then didn't have to pay for it. As long, again, implementing it correctly, because if they try to screw us and skyrocket our taxes, then we're just getting screwed the same way. Okay? There's ways for this to be done, where they actually put the taxes where they should go and not on the lower class, and it not be a big giveaway to insurance companies like Obamacare was. Okay? So there's ways to go about it, but I don't care. At this point, I'll take any of the three, just whatever I can get, because this is abysmal, and our country, being the richest country in the world, should be ashamed and disgusted that there's so many people who are having to make the choice between feeding themselves or buying their medication, between being able to go see a doctor or doing what I've had to do and treat yourself at home in a lot of ways. And I don't mean, like when I have a pain, go buy drugs off the street or something. No, I don't do that. Okay. But if you haven't watched my previous videos, I've given my own story before. Most people get deep gashes and go get stitches. I break out the glue. I've had to break out a good old tube of Loctite on more than one occasion. One was a real bad one. It was actually a stab into my left hand, right in this area, between the thumb and the index finger. What was a dumb thing on my part, trying to open a box of scissors, jumped out and right into my hand. It was a terrible sight. My wife even said, you need to go to the doctor. No, I don't want to go to the doctor, because if I can avoid trying to go to a doctor and not having money to pay for the stitches or whatever right there in my pocket, because if I did, then that might affect me having money for the rest of that week for food, gas, bills. I'm one of those people. I have things, but I don't have a lot of leftover disposable income. Me and my wife have a good income. The problem is we have enough to have what we have, but we don't have enough to just keep putting massive loads away. And the thing is, that's what a lot of America's experiencing. If you do make enough to make ends meet, you don't have a surplus that you can just put away into a savings account. Okay? And I know there's the whole lecture about trying to cut expenses, not incur more debt, A, B, and C. And you know what? In some cases, that's great. For example, I've told my wife a lot of times, if we get some kind of extra money, put it in the savings account. But that doesn't mean you can always do that. You know why? Because there's an economy right now set up to benefit the rich. Where, give Bernie his credit on the floor of the Senate the other day, where he exposed to the Republican senators who don't want to bring the vote up to increase those checks to $2,000. And he brought up, you say this is a giveaway to the rich. Where was your stance on that when you were giving the tax cuts that gave $139 million back to Jeff Bezos when his company Amazon paid zero in federal taxes? Where was your big speech about socialism for the rich then? So you have an economy that's geared this way. You have a healthcare system that's bogus, where they're just trying to profiteer off your health at the form of bankrupting people. They don't care. They have no conscience. It's all about the money. So I'll say this again. When you take that tone with people for whom this corrupt system has truly harmed the most, you are hitting in an area where you are going to get an emotional response. And when you push at that button and you get that emotional response, they might just have some rough stuff to say about you. Furthermore, and for the record, I've been saying this, let this be only just one more example out there that if you want revolution, you better take your diaper off. Seriously. Get out of your crib, get out of your high chair, quit eating Gerber every morning, okay? This ain't the baby league. If you want revolution, you need to understand what it's going to consist of. People will be pissed. And I got news for you. If you're wanting revolution and you're not Jimmy Dore pissed, you're going to fail. The only way successful revolutions happen when it gets to the point where we're banging our fists on the table, or when people are so pissed they're willing to give up everything they got and risk dying, losing it all, whatever, to get a change for themselves or their fellow country or their fellow countrymen. Okay? Until people get to that point, you're not ready for the, revolution that you imply you want in a lot of ways. You want this, you want revolution results without putting in revolution work, almost. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. So for all these people, to use the right-wing term, to when all these snowflakes get all, oh no, he cussed at me. No. Oh my God, no. He used dirty language. Oh, my feelings are hurt. Oh. First of all, that's why so many right-wingers come up with that term of snowflakes, and that like our future is pretty much fucked if you are what's going to lead America next. And there's a point to that. There's a point to that. You got to understand that when times are bad, you got to toughen up to get some results. All this sitting around in a fucking circle jerk where we're just like, we want better healthcare. We want better healthcare. We're going to sit around in a conference call and bitch about it. We're going to, AOC, her results were, but it wasn't that good. No, it wasn't that good, but you know what? She's not Nancy Pelosi. Not Nancy Pelosi. We need a better pressure campaign. That's what we need. We need a pressure campaign. We need to tweet, but we can't be mean. Can't be verbally violent. AOC said we were violent recently. We can't be verbally violent. No. Again, you're not ready for revolution. You're not ready for revolution. Can you imagine the forefathers of our country when they wanted to start this country, when they wanted to break away from the tyranny of England? Okay? Can you imagine them sitting around saying, we shouldn't be too mean to those redcoats because they might fire a musket at us? You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. But you know who is ready? Jimmy Dore's ready. Jimmy Dore's ready. Jimmy Dore's ready. He is willing to do revolution. He would be willing to be a revolutionary. He's ready. Y'all aren't. Y'all are not. There's a lot of other people who are ready too, but y'all are not. You claim you want it, but you're not ready for it. What's the street term now? Y'all don't want the smoke. You don't. You don't. Period. You don't want it. Y'all want to sit around and talk about it. You want to sit around and bitch about it. But when the rubber meets the road, you want to get on Zoom. I mean, so no, I'm all for doing what Jimmy is doing, and that is doing whatever it takes to put pressure on a politician to make them do their jobs. If that means cussing at them, I don't care. If that means sending nasty tweets at them, I don't care. And if it means making them do their job draws the wrath of the status quo, I don't care. I thought that was the whole point here. I thought we were trying to be the enemy of the status quo that was screwing us over for years and years. I thought we were trying to make a point to them that we're tired of your crap and we're not going to take it anymore. I thought the whole point was they were supposed to try to go in there and make a difference. AOC said herself, all you had to do was be in there one term, you could make a world of difference. I thought that was the point. You know what I didn't think was the point? I didn't think the point was go in there and rub elbows with these motherfuckers and try to be their friends, so that you can remain in office, collect your Cadillac healthcare plan, and tell us what you're going to do for us, while secretly you're just bending us over and not using the Vaseline. I didn't think that was the point, whether it be Democrat or Republican. If they ran as an outsider, I didn't think that was the fucking point of getting them elected. And yet all these people who were at the time saying a lot of the things that we're saying right now, which is, oh yeah, we need the outsider to go in there and shake things up. They're so drank on the Kool-Aid that they are an outsider. They start using insider talking points in a way to them. Well, they gotta work within the system. And if they don't work within the system, then they're going to lose their office. You gotta know politics, man. It's a strategy, man. It's bullshit. It's what it is. It's just flat out bullshit. And so again, you don't understand why he's that pissed. You think he shouldn't be that pissed. This is me. This is my opinion. Maybe this isn't true for everyone, but to me, it shows you have not had to go through the struggles that he's gone through. You're not doing things like I've had to do either, where, you know, you get hurt and you're trying to figure out how you're going to treat it at home, and you don't go see the doctor on a regular basis. You don't go to work with a knee and a neck injury that you can't get addressed because you don't have money to pay for what might need a surgery. You don't have the money to get that kind of thing done. So you tough it out. Now, and again, some people would even take it as far as, because of what I have between my knee and my neck, go out and buy pills off the street, and I don't do that. You know why? Because I'm trying to keep a job where I'm working well over 40 hours a week. And because I'm doing that, I'm just pretty much toughing through it. Strap on a knee brace, maybe rub my neck a little bit in the morning and at night, go to work, tough it through. Just tough it out. Just tough it out. I've been doing that for a long time. And as long as these politicians keep looking after their own interests and wannabe revolutionaries keep making excuses for those politicians, I'll probably having to tough it out and keep on doing what I've been doing for years to come. And that's why I can perfectly understand why Jimmy Dore is so pissed off. Because people like myself, people like him, know what it's like to have to suffer because of the system, or if you tried to get anything done, facing a big debt that you don't know how you could pay off. I understand it. And I'm not sure a lot of the people who are criticizing him for being that pissed off do. And if they have put themselves into that situation and they have had to walk a mile in those boots, and they still are trying to defend these politicians, then I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, honestly. I mean, there's really nothing more that I know to say, because you're beyond reason at that point. It's almost like being an Uncle Tom. You're literally suffering through things yourself, and you don't want to try to do something that could get results. But then again, on the other hand, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Millions of people in the country every year seem to keep on electing Democrats and Republicans. So maybe I shouldn't be surprised that there might be some people out there who feel that way. Either way, people need to realize that's why he's getting so pissed off. And you know what? Say what you want to about him, agree with him on certain things he says or not. I support him in this. Even if we don't get Medicare for all, I support him for speaking up and having the courage to say something, to fight. And that when someone tries to make an excuse for crappy politicians, to get pissed off and call it like it is. Even if it's their emotional response, or an emotional response that he may regret later. Even if that's what it is, he needs to speak up. And he needs to say these kind of things to the people who are just trying to make excuses. Because we need less of that, and we need a lot more action. That's my take.